What's your next question?
My next question is what are the main differences between vector psychology and general psychology?
Psychology. Okay, so what's the difference in psychology?
Yeah, what are the main differences?
Okay, I got you. And well, if you take general psychology, whether it's clinical or any other psychology, or psychiatry, which is, we're gonna talk about that too. Psychologists, they cannot diagnose the problem. They don't know where the schizophrenia comes from, autism and all that. Now, if you bring right now 3 professors from Stanford, Oxford and Harvard in psychology, and we're gonna bring child 8 years old with autistic child, and let's see what they say, each of them. They're gonna have different opinions. They're gonna say different stuff. So psychology, it's more like philosophy, and I think is the most useless profession that you can find, because first, they cannot diagnose, they just have their own opinion. Now, sometimes on small things, they can help person when they talking. The person needs to talk to somebody. And the small things, it might help, because sometimes, yes, we need to talk, because it's also important. Person can jump out of the bridge, but somebody just passes by and ask him, hey, do you have a cigarette? He's like, no, I don't smoke. Okay, do you know what time is it? He's like, no, I don't have watch. Okay, all right, and he's gone. After this conversation, he might not jump. He just needed to talk, you understand? So psychologist is basically, is not gonna, as I see, and small things, you can talk to your friends, you can talk, if you don't have really somebody you can share, and sometimes you need to share because it's important, and you go to psychologists, understand? So I don't see any help in serious things. Now, vector psychology can diagnose and get rid of this autism or any other, most of the issues can get rid of it, because the children, we're gonna talk about children maybe later, but adults, all their psychological problems, all their issues first starts from fears, because they suppress the emotions because of the fears, and they can have really bad things can happen. And I'm talking about bad, even could lead to cancer and liver problems and all that. Now they have fear, for example, they're scared to lose their job, they have this anxiety, they have this accumulating effect, they hold on to it, and eventually they become sick because of that. So they have to get rid of these fears. Now, psychiatry, it's even worse. They prescribe drugs and they cannot diagnose. If I'm gonna ask psychiatrist where this autism came from, he has no idea. He's gonna say serotonin disbalance or some other smart words that you learned in the book. Now, me personally, every topic that I'm trying to study, I read the topic, I take some information, then I start to think how to improve it. It's not, I never, people, they came, Darwin theory, I think, is wrong. We're not from apes. I think we're from parrots, because everybody repeats after everybody. They read this book, they tell everybody about whatever they read, and they're not really creative too much. People don't try to create something unique, understand? Now, even I study and I put up the training in vector psychology, I still do it my own way. I take information from vector psychology, I do it my own way. Some of the stuff I just create it myself. I mean, most of the stuff. Now, back to psychiatrist, when they prescribe drugs, or psychologists, when they try to help you, they try to fix or help your effect, your basically your effect, not the cause. And the problem is the cause will stay there. You understand? If I'm trying to help with your anxiety and tell you to breathe or meditate or do what they do, what else they do? Meditation, they go to yoga, and what else? They have this, yeah. Well, all this stuff, if you know, one time I was in the military, and I was in Lebanon. I served in Israeli military, and we ended up in a field where the mines was there, and we stuck there. And if you're in the middle of these mines around you, what are you gonna do? Start meditate, or you're gonna do hypnotherapy, or what are you gonna do? It's a fact. All this meditation, it helps you for 10 minutes, but you need to fix the problem. So if we didn't have our equipment, we pull out the knives and start to create the road out of there. And meditation not gonna help. You understand? Meditation is good, but it's not to fix your psychological issues. It's good in the morning, you feel a little better, relaxed, but it has nothing to do with fixing serious things or hypnotherapy. It has nothing to do, because I just gave you example. You walk right now in the forest by yourself, suddenly you see a pack of wolves around you, and they very bad mood, these wolves. They just hunt down the deer, and the deer ran away. And they come to you from all this. What are you going to start? Hypnotherapy, meditation? You need, in order to help to get rid of the fears, you need the knowledge how to get rid of it. And then you need experience, because just knowing things, if you do skydiving, just knowing how to do it, sometimes it's not enough. You need some experience also. So you see this pack of wolves, you pick the leader. It's the same thing with people, by the way. You pick the leader. Most likely it's going to be one of the first ones, probably with tail up, because it shows left, and the pack goes left, right? They go right. As a woman, the man is different. As a woman, you approach him very slowly, sit down, and start pet this wolf. And if you really have this feminine good energy, you're gonna calm him down, and he's gonna take back away. But if you start screaming and running, I don't know how this will end up. You understand? The same thing with people. If you go outside right now and let's say you just parked your car in the garage, and you going out to your house, to your apartment, and in the garage there is only one door, in and out. And you approach this door, and right before you open it up, somebody comes out, and there is a guy with the mask on, and he has axe and a rope in his hand. So the same thing that you do with wolves, if you start screaming and running away, you're gonna trigger adrenaline in his blood. He's gonna jump, and it's animal instinct you trigger. So you just first you come down, you approach him very slowly, you grab his hand, or maybe also pat him, and become his psychologist. Like, random question, what is your name? And start talking. Behind this mask, it's just a boy, and usually it's Anno Vector. Only Anno Vector able to do certain things and we'll talk about that also a little bit. And it has its own insecurities and fears. Whatever he has in his hands, first he's trying to scare you, not to harm you. So if you come and you approach him, grab his hand, start to pet him, what is your name? You start to talk to him, you calm him down, you understand? Mm-hmm. So feminine energy, you can say suppress aggression if you know how it's done. So if you take any example, always feminine energy is stronger than male inside energy, inner energy. Because if they have kids at the house and they become sick, it's because mother state. That's why they become sick. Flowers get withered, dying in your house because feminine energy. The dog and cat is aggressive or sick or has issues because of your feminine energy that you have. So female's energy is very powerful if you know how to use it right. You can distract anybody or constructive it can be, you understand? Mm-hmm. It's very important. That's what makes woman even prettier and more attractive, because when she's come inside, she has these good pheromones, good positive energy, and then she starts to attract positive people, and otherwise it's become destructive, and everything around her will start to get sick. And you know, in ancient times, when they say a woman was a witch, it was usually dermal visual woman with usually they have the most powerful energy, that vector. We'll get back to dermal visual later. And her fear to be burned as a witch, because she has these fears, she comes to the village and everything in the village was cultivated by hand. You know, we were getting crops and wet, and everything was made by hand. And suddenly the cattle starts to die or get sick, the crop gets bad and rotten, and there is a hunger and people get sick, and it leads to death, because the hunger is the worst thing that could happen. Mm-hmm. And all the village rebels and says she's a witch, it's because of her. Suddenly she came and everything became destructive. They take her and they burn her as a witch, and that's her biggest fear, to be burned as a witch. That's her inner energy destroying her, you understand?